The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. A message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Tell your fan friends that you've switched to Pensacola's new ESPN. ESPN Pensacola 94.5. It's where you hear Chad Berlante's Sports Drive at 5, Coach K, and Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen. Plus all of your ESPN national faves like Gullick and Wingo and Paul Feinbaum. And if you'd like to be an ESPN sponsor or one of our promotional partners, just give us a call at 262-6000. 262-6000.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT
I'm Jordan Glass with your
Pensacola.
Pensacola Sports Update. For your UWF Argos, baseball is victorious as part of the Gulf South Conference Tournament over Alabama Huntsville. Final score of this game, 12-8. And congratulations to softball as they knock off West Georgia 4-1 to win the Gulf South Conference Softball Tournament, which, by the way, was hosted on the UWF Softball Complex. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, on Saturday, they were victorious in a big-time way over the Biloxi Shuckers on Star Wars night. The final score of Saturday's game was 11-2. For Sunday, much of the same, 9-2, the final score in a big-time Wahoo win. They improved to 20-10 on the year. Coming up next, they'll be on the road later on this afternoon, taking on the Mississippi Braves. That gets started at 6:35. Chris Garagiola will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. The next time they'll be at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's coming up May 16th. They'll be taking on the Mobile Bay Bears. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. That's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. He's good. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WNBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Berlante's. Glad to be with you here as always as we broadcast live on this Monday. A lot to get to on today's show as we're going to talk a little more about what was a mess. Maximum security is what they needed for the people that put a lot of money on maximum security in the Kentucky Derby. And if you were a champ this week, because you know, it had an Alias Vegas chip. We had our party times back in the day. Jordan and I, you know, we like to go out and have fun. You know, looking like Jordan usually goes with the guy that's signing autographs at a country. I saw the Luke Combs thing today, and he's got the hair slicked back. You know, I'm sure that you could pass for, you know, signing some autographs afterwards. So you would have to eat a little more. He's a little bigger than you, but I'm just saying.
I've tried it a couple more, but I've tried it a couple of times, but it doesn't work out. It's like, hey, you want my autograph too? It's like, we don't know you. No,
bro,
leave us alone.
Don't try that when he's on stage. It doesn't work that way. But, you know, the thing with this week is if you went all out,
yeah,
Mint Juleps, Drinko de Mayo. They threw that down. We were down there at World of Beer, one of our great sponsors. Awesome event. Rain or shine. People like tequila. And then on Sunday with what was going on with Cinco de Mayo. So between Mint Juleps, Drinko de Mayo, Cinco de Mayo, and everything in between, if you didn't top shelf it, you're probably hurting today at work, and we're speaking to the folks leaving at 5 o'clock.
Well, here's the thing. What people don't see watching on YouTube and Facebook Live right now is there's actually, those paint stir sticks? Mm-hmm. There's one of those at the back of the chair holding me up, because if it's not there, I'm slumped over.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, the weekend got me.
So did Taco Bell. But looking at what's going on right now, we got a lot to get to on today's show. We're going to go into what's going on right now in the NFL, the NBA, and more. Also, the XFL, WWE. They got the backing right there. Personally, I've said go all in. Be one of those kind of American Eagle guy driving in with the cut-off sleeves. Every guy announced like the which would be terrible for the halogen bulbs. The guy working the lighting, because in a baseball field back in day when you played Little League, and the lights went out, and you're like, come on, let's play. And you're like, 45-minute wait, gotta get these bulbs, man. Same thing with all the lights go out. Undertaker music, dun, the guy comes out, now starting at quarterback, raise a glass, all of a sudden comes out there. Choke slams the defensive end at the offense. Go all out, but they're obviously not going to do that and make a mockery of the league. Although, personally, I think it would be cool. You know what I'm saying? The combination of WWE with what's going on. Vince McMahon is running it, but they're going to make it sophisticated in a way. And it looks as sophisticated as football can be with folks like Vontez Burfict and Pac-Man Jones playing in it. But you look right now at the league. I guess Ricky Bobby's dad was right. If you're not first,
you're last.
You're last.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it comes down to the Alliance of American Football, they try to be first, but they end up finishing last. And sometimes when you're not prepared yet, don't go to war just because you think that it's the right time to strike without the right people. And it didn't work out. And the XFL, I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but right now, it's already set itself up compared to the other leagues about having success down the road. And nobody's going to compete with the NFL. Nobody's going to beat the NFL. That's not going to happen. You're not going to wake up one day and it's going to be a battle. Well, I was going to spend the money with you in the NFL, but I'm going to split it between the two leagues. Jordan, the XFL right now signed a major contract today with Fox and also with ESPN to carry the games. And this is going to be good, because if you want to partner with somebody, you go to the da-na-na right here with ESPN. And from football, getting the backing of Fox ain't too shabby as well.
Yeah, and I think this works out for them, because here's the thing, and I think that was the weakness for American Alliance or AAF.
The league that was, let's call it.
Was. I think that they, for the most part, they went with CBS Sports Network. They went with the NFL Network. Now, look, it's not that those are bad networks. I'm not saying anything bad about those networks, but a lot of people don't have those networks on their cable provider. Everybody, if you've got the basic sports package, you've got Fox, you've got FS1, you've got ABC, you've got ESPN. You're going to be able to see these XFL games, and that's going to make the difference. They're going to be able to get more viewers than what the AAF could, because the AAF was in a situation where not everybody had CBS Sports Network. Mm-hmm. Not everybody had the Bleacher Report live stream feed or anything like that. So it just kind of it's going to play a lot better for the XFL.
Yeah, today that announcement was made for the XFL in a league right now that, when you look at it, an opportunity to try to take it to the next level now that the AAF is pretty much out of the picture. We expect, I don't think there's any coming to Jesus, the miracle moment for them. They dropped in the middle of the season. If you can't finish when the biggest part is coming up, we're talking football. But if you can't go out there and you can't come when the biggest part of when in the middle of the most dominant moment of football, if you can't get out there and do that, then at this point you're not going to do it when you try to come out a couple days later and do it. So it's just not going to work that way. It doesn't work that way. Looking right now at what's going on in some of the other sports, the NBA. Did you stay up Friday night for the Portland and Denver game? It's okay to say, look, I did not.
I fell asleep in, I think, the third overtime. I think I fell asleep in the third overtime.
No. I was about to give you a hall pass Like I wasn't watching Portland and Denver at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was watching.
But that's worse. That's worse.
Here's my thing.
You went 3 overtimes, but you couldn't finish the fourth.
I got off the show for the. I got off the evening show for Cat Country. Raced home, got to see the last of it, and I was on the couch and woke up on the couch and Sports Center's going on and all that stuff, and they're doing the recap of the game, and I'm like, crap, I missed it. Oh well. But I hate I missed it. But
you're like the guy at a burger.
It was great up until the point I fell asleep.
Like the guy at the burger competition that you have to eat the whole 5-pound burger.
Yeah, and then the 6 pounds of fries.
Yeah, you finish 4 and 4/5, and they're like, "Come on, Jordan, just another bite of crust." I'm done. Just lick your fingers, dude, and you win. No. Like, man, you just had it. You got all the way there to the third overtime. I did watch the game. I told Brittany, I was like, I'll be in bed in a few minutes. She knows the drill with sports. It's like, we have a joke in the family. It's the bottom of the 9th inning. You know what I'm saying? Which is always, every time I say that, it's 2-1. Guy hits a solo shot with 2 outs. Game extends until about 17 innings. So she'll be like, I thought it was the bottom of the 9th. I was like, it was. Now we're in the bottom of the 14th.
Right.
Then she wakes back up in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. It's time to take Leighton to school. Sorry, honey, it's the 17th. I got to finish this one. But, there's only been a few times in sports where I've wanted a game to end. Last year with the Red Sox and Dodgers. Remember that one in the World Series? And
was that 19 innings? Yeah.
Oh, my God. We had got done. It was a Friday night. We'd just done high school football with the Blab TV game. And I remember going home. And it was at the same time, it actually gave you a reason to stay up because, remember, the Ryder Cup was in France. And you watched all the Frenchies out there. Well, not all the Europeans. That's very rude of me to say. But they were all out there and kicking our you-know-what around in a bunch of burnt orange looking like Texas Longhorn jackets. Remember, we had the beanie caps going on? Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there. So it was already 3 a.m. And because of the time change, we were watching it live, like you have to wake up for the British Open and watch. So there was a reason already to stay up at 3 a.m. to watch it live for the Ryder Cup. But at the same time, you had a game in the 18th inning, and Chase Utley chucking that ball over the side. When Max Muncy hit the home run, and like I said, you wait all year in baseball, literally 162 games for that moment so you could watch your team in a World Series. So if you can't wait for those games, what's the point of watching every regular season game when a night like tonight they're taking on a guy in Jay Means that nobody even knows out of Baltimore in a game that most people won't watch? Here's the difference, though. That moment when Max Muncy hit the home run, I remember rolling over and going, it's about blanking time, and just went to bed. I remember, and I've watched every Aaron bleeping Boone moment, everything. In that moment, I was just like, okay, it's over. All right, we'll do this again tomorrow. 6.5-hour baseball game. Wahoos are going to get done. And
they are.
Tomorrow?
20-10 on the year. They'll be playing. They're on the road taking on the Braves, the Mississippi Braves, today, 6:35.
I believe I owe you some Spam tomorrow.
You do.
Was that not it? Was it something?
I don't know.
No, steak tacos. I'll make sure to get. Every day they're going to go down and didn't I got you some steakums, right?
Right. Yeah.
2 of them, right, out of the 6 out of the box.
A Dollar Tree steak. Yeah,
I was going to say 3.5 sirloin right there. There is a Dollar Tree sirloin right there. I would not try that. I'll try the candy in the wrapper. You know what I'm saying?
We might have to do like that. That's like a losing bet.
Ooh.
Like an ESPN Pensacola, we'll do like maybe the Florida-Miami game. We'll all make a bet or something on the score, not necessarily picking teams, but
here's a better bet.
Over-under on the score or something like that.
We take a steakhouse that we like.
Yeah.
And we add up how much that steak would cost. So like a good steak, like I get an honest steak for $19.99. You know, a good ribeye or something. No, that's not like you can go. Usually, if you go to a place, where most people are dressed up a little different, then you're probably gonna $24.99's about good.
Right.
Porterhouse, forget about it. Now you're pushing it, and I'm not paying your tab. But if it's $19.99, that's about right. So you have to eat equivalent to $19.99 in those 3.5 steaks. Good luck in the morning, and do not come back in the studio unless we've had about 15 hours worth of clearance. You know what I mean on that one? That's all right. Yeah. Well, on that note, since it's such a positive note to get out on, we will go ahead and get to more coming back here on the NFL, ranking some of the quarterbacks, having fun as well with those moments in sports. What moment after what we saw in the Kentucky Derby? What moment sticks out to you? The most controversial moment? Some Saints fans already throwing something, saying, "Are you kidding me?" After what we saw this year. And if I found that, there needs to be $1 million bounty for Bill Vinovic's address. I'm sure people have
making me Dollar Tree steaks.
Man, witness protection. The NFL referees from last year's Saints game. Who dat? Well, we'll find him, and it's $1 million to you. Coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Rivage is the place to be for basketball championship action. From buzzer beaters to slam dunks, we have everything you need for hoop season. Make every game interesting at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Baseball season just started, and I'm looking forward to seeing how those big-time free agents impact their new franchises. And if you're a small business owner, there's no better place to find the impact hire to help your business than LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs takes the time to learn more about who you're looking for and then recommends qualified candidates from their community of engaged and career-minded people, candidates who you likely won't be able to reach anywhere else. The truth is, over 70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn, and posting your job on LinkedIn gives you the best chance of finding and starting a conversation with your next star recruit. It's no surprise a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. So build your winning team by posting a job on LinkedIn and visit linkedin.com/sports to get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports for $50 off your first job post. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante with you here alongside Jordan Glass, having some fun on a Monday. Hope you're all the way through what could have been a long week. I saw many people that, your typical family outing kind of people, go to a dog park, maybe a movie, hang out with the cat from Cat Country downtown. That was a great event at Last Prize Standing, and seemed like the ladies really wanted to go to the award show, Jordan, and not to the mountains.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things to where there was so many people out there, and we had 2 great prizes left, and it was all asking the people, well, which one would you rather have? And everybody all wanted the one prize. So trip to the Smoky Mountains did not get picked, but somebody's going to the CMA Fan Fest, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
I would have been like, I won $1 million. Maybe like, wait a second, was that on the list?
That's not a prize. I don't care. Make it a
Jordan
prize.
told me back there. Yeah, you were getting hit with the balls. I mean, they were busting your balls in the back there.
They were. I was the one that was drawing the ping pong balls to eliminate people, and go back and watch the Facebook Live video, and there's a couple of people going, that jerk, as they walk by. And
it was an awesome event, though, at Last Prize Standing, Cat Country 98.7, having some fun out there. And those burgers, by the way, were good. I mean,
they smelled good.
Oh man, that was good. Yeah. You can't really screw up a burger unless it's Flanders. I'm sorry, but if there's sometimes you get to a point where those were good. Overall, the quality of those burgers and the whole place, it was awesome. Overall, looking at some of the things going on from the weekend, though, congratulations UWF softball getting it done. The ladies, Gulf South Conference champions. They'll be moving on and having a chance in the regionals. And what an incredible season! #1 in the nation. If you ain't first, you're last. And they live by that mentality right there. And this is a team, too, when you talk about sports, when UWF athletics, golf, tennis, so many of the sports that they've had, even lately with football and basketball and women's basketball, you can look across the board, and there are a lot of things when you look at most of these people, Jordan, that you could say, okay, it's one thing to go out there and dominate for a long time. But softball has not been that way. And they've had a couple of tough seasons. For them to jump quickly into not only being good, but great to number one. It's been an incredible ride, and from a former player nationally, pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, and I think if you look at this team, they're playing really good. And we saw a video actually on Blab TV earlier, motioning face for people watching on YouTube. We have a monitor here that's on Blab TV, and I was motioning to that.
That's another show right there.
But yeah, they had video of the team training and everything, and they took them out to the beach, and they were running drills in the sand, and that's a big thing that I'm going to put that in stock as why they've had such a good year, is because they do stuff like that. Because you and I both know as baseball players, it's you get out there on the field, it kind of becomes muscle memory. The minute you start trying to run those same exact drills in the sand, it gets a lot tougher, starts to build a little bit more toughness in you, and I think the softball team is a fantastic team to watch, and they're going to be playing a couple more games this year, so if you have the opportunity, go watch them.
Would it tick you off as somebody that has done beach drills in any sport if they're playing toes in the sand right there with Kenny Chesney and stuff while you're like, I don't think that's when like grabbing a cocktail on the drink, sipping in the water. You're running 3 days, like, you son of a, like, this is not what he was singing about right here.
I think the thing that would get I would get mad at more is the people in the hammocks while you're running in the sand. You're running 30-yard sprints in the sand, and they're just sitting there in a hammock sipping on a cold drink.
The
and
umbrella
you're just
straws.
Like, you know what? Yeah.
Would you like some, sir? Sir, Grandma? No. Looking right now at the Blue Wahoos and why you are owed steak tacos. Miguel Sano.
Yes.
Sano, you didn't. He took one deep into left field out there, and which I'm trying to start a petition. I've got 0 to sign. Even my family told me to go home, get a life. But I want to get the sort of McCovey Cove going in left field out there with the canoes. Now, if you've watched the drop-off from right there at the Palafox Pier in that area, it's pretty far down. I mean, you couldn't see the game, frankly. But you can't do that either in McCovey Cove. I mean, so at the same time, you have to bomb it, too. We got to get some big – I mean, it's going to be – I'm also going to start another called Chad's Juicers, just like the Juice Man. No, carrots and – wink. But
some smoothies,
carrots, supplements, whatever. Give the guy a couple of the guys at Barry Bonds knows a call. Who knows what's going to happen? Just a fun time. But get them to hit balls out in the left field into that cove. Could be a real boring game if it's 1-0. But I'm saying overall, start our own little McCovey Cove in Pensacola out there. Just saying.
Look, I'm down. I'll
bring the canoe and I'll join.
I'll take a kayak out there. Yeah. Why not?
That's not a bad party. Could be a good time out there. There's no seas. It's a calm area.
Yeah, you just don't want to have too good of a time, because then you're not alert when the home run actually comes into the water, and it might hit you instead of the water. So,
and you could just sit on the hill and do the same thing and not have to waste your time in there. I don't even know how you get in the water from that spot.
And you actually get to see the game, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But looking right now at what's going on with the Wahoos, they once again took another series against the Shuckers right there, scored 30 runs in their final game. Not too bad right there. And now with the best record in the Southern League, they've won every series this year. They've won every series they've been in. 6 straight series. That's
incredible.
Yeah, 9-2 win on Sunday.
Yeah, and this team is, we talked about the UWF softball team, but this Argo team, this pairing with the Minnesota Twins has been great for the Wahoos because they have really brought in great talent here, and this team is absolutely incredible. They're fun to watch, and man, I hate that I wasn't there yesterday to see that home run in person, because I saw the video, and that was, like you said, that was a bomb into the left center. And anybody that's been in Blue Wahoo Stadium, that's seen how kind of deep that is, and then also what's behind it, because it's not like the water's right there. Because with McCovey Cove and even PNC Park, there's maybe like a little concourse, but then the water's right on the other side of that. There's a concourse, some grass, and then a fence, then the water. And for him to hit it in the water where he did, that was a bomb.
Insane. And it was it's one that you're not going to see too long. Miguel Sano is going to get moved up here after having a rehab stint, but good to see him down here and helping the Wahoos get another victory and another great series. Looking at what happened during the Kentucky Derby, I'm not going to sit here and act like I am one of these horse what is it? It's not a connoisseur, is it? I mean, I don't even know I don't know a ton about horse racing. I know enough where I know how to put money at the book, ask for a quinella or a trifecta, the usual. That's what we do, right? But I can wear a big hat. It's supposed to be for the ladies. I can also drink a mint julep and watch the games. The difference is I'm looking right now at some of the things that from watching the game, and one of the things is, or watching the race, and what I saw was something that seemed like it could have been passed on. You know what I'm saying? 22 minutes. There was what's happening with a lot of old school sports. And when I say that, Kentucky Derby is horse racing. Yeah. Horse racing, golf, there's a lot of sports, even baseball, that have been America. It's been a pastime. Yeah. They can't change a lot with the culture. And what I mean is they have a hard time in golf over rules like if your club barely touches the sand before you line up for a shot, it's a 2-stroke penalty. Or if you don't fill out your scorecard right and you turn it into the clubhouse, you can lose. You don't even get and there's so many rules like that in golf you impede on somebody's lie or anything, just the littlest of things could cost you an entire round. And it's part of the rules of golf. That's the thing. The etiquette is so important. And I get it to a point. You don't want a bunch of hooligans, and Happy Gilmore doesn't represent what golf really should. Get these sideshow clowns out here waving balloons. Go back to your shanties. None of that. I will get you. No people that say guns don't kill people, I kill people shirts named Mr. Larson with a nail in their head running at you on a golf course. Those things don't happen. Yeah. But it would, real sturdy. But when it comes down to looking right now at where a sport like the Kentucky Derby or horse racing is, I feel like that could have been prevented. That didn't need to be. Somebody in the back could have been like, okay, that did not cost the race. Maximum Security dominated, and it didn't stop a horse like what in the opportunity for somebody that we've seen go out there and get it done. That isn't the best horse in Country House going out at 65-1. Imagine ripping up that ticket, by the way. Be like, wait a second, 22 minutes later, like, dude, you didn't throw away your $100, did you? That's 6,500, man. Be like, 6,500 pieces right here going around. But I'm telling you, Jordan, I feel like from watching it, the 22 minutes, it could have been done better.
Yeah, I think it could have been done better. And a little fun fact about the Kentucky Derby, we had Bill Polian on Talk Football with us earlier today. He was actually there with his wife, and they were walking by, and the winning team was walking by as well. Who was a part of that winning team? None other than the former Indianapolis Colts, who Bill Polian brought into the Colts, and Kentucky Wildcat, Jacob Tamme, who was actually part of the winning team there at the Kentucky Derby.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was a nice little, Bill Polian said his wife got one of the roses off the rose blanket, and he seemed to enjoy it, and they were getting ready to go party and celebrate the win.
There you go. Pretty sweet right there. And we actually have a little clip of what the Kentucky Derby would sound like, and you know, just a little bit different, because in sports, sometimes we've seen the antics, the fun, the camaraderie of what it might be. But overall, when it comes down to it, I think one of the things we need to look at is combining sports with what it would sound like in the Kentucky Derby.
It is Country House on the outside. Maximum Security, so dead game. He keeps battling on. You can do it. Maximum Security. Country House 1-2 down to the line. Show me the money. Maximum Security wins the Kentucky Derby.
Not today.
And then it was Country House second, followed by Code of Honor third. And in behind them, Master Fencer, who was closing late inside of Tacitus. It's Maximum Security. He's never lost a race.
Not in my house.
And he wins it under Luis Saez.
Not today.
There is an objection that has been posted on the board, so it is unofficial for the moment.
You kidding me?
He did come out at the top of the stretch, nearing the top of the stretch. He impeded the one-horse War of Will.
You kidding me?
Maximum Security moved out of lane before he was clear, forcing the rider of number 1 War of Will to check up a little bit.
Is where Maximum Security ducked out. He did bother War of Will, definitely. But it's hard to see that he did anything to Country House.
So here we see him as we're going into the far turn. This is the 3 furlong pole, the green and white pole. There's their passing right now. War of Will, the horse with a white stripe on his face, directly in behind the horse with the pink silks. That there was definitely some contact.
That's terrible.
They disqualified him.
They did.
Garbage.
So for the first time in the history of the Kentucky Derby, the horse that crossed the line first has been disqualified.
Kidding me?
That's terrible.
After the objection, Country House wins the Kentucky Derby.
If you want to crown them, then crown their. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
With Flavien Prat at 65-1, one of the longest shots in history to win the Derby.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Well, there it is, folks. The Kentucky Derby, as it was called, right there on NBC with Mike Tirico. You know, it's just
that might have been even better than the actual Derby itself, how it played out.
Yeah, somebody lost a lot of cash. On that note, when we come back, we're going to talk to a guy who I'm sure was not betting the Kentucky Derby because he was out saving rabbits. That's what he does. This is not a joke. He saved 3 rabbits from his drain in a pool back at his house last week. The rabbit whisperer himself, Brent Baird, will join us. He also writes for College Sports right here on the ESPN 94.5 Blab TV. It's the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For your UWF Argos, baseball is victorious as part of the Gulf South Conference Tournament over Alabama Huntsville. Final score of this game 12-8. And congratulations to softball as they knock off West Georgia 4-1 to win the Gulf South Conference Softball Tournament, which, by the way, was hosted on the UWF Softball Complex. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, on Saturday, they were victorious in a big-time way over the Biloxi Shuckers on Star Wars night. The final score of Saturday's game was 11-2. For Sunday, much of the same, 9-2, the final score in a big-time Wahoo win. They improved to 20-10 on the year. Coming up next, they'll be on the road later on this afternoon, taking on the Mississippi Braves. That gets started at 6:35. Chris Garagiola will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. The next time they'll be at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's coming up May 16th. They'll be taking on the Mobile Bay Bears. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
Hi, I'm Paul. I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another wireless ad. I know how you feel. And it seems like they're always full of this complicated, tricky language about their networks and offers and blah, blah, blah. Well, Sprint is going to do things differently and let you decide for yourself with their new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. Try it for 30 days, love it, or your money back. See? Simple. Now get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the iPhone XR with its amazing camera included for just $35 a month per line for 5 lines. So switch now. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT1 today.
30-day guarantee with new line of service. iPhone XR, 64 gigabyte, $15 a month after $16.25 a month credit for 18 months credit applied within 2 bills. If canceled early, remaining balance due. Unlimited basic after $630.20, pay $32 a month per line with autopay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Speed maximums, use rules, $30 activation fee, and restrictions apply.
Hi, this is Thane Taylor from the Sleep Center. For over 20 years now, the Sleep Center has been known as Pensacola's mattress experts. But did you know that the Sleep Center is also Pensacola's adjustable bed, futon, cabinet bed, and beanbag experts? The Sleep Center opened in Pensacola in 1995 with the main goal of being the area's one-stop shop for all your bedding needs. Since then, we have become Pensacola's oldest and largest bedding superstore and have the highest Google rating of any store on the Gulf Coast. So if you want better sleep without all the fuss, come to the Sleep Center and leave the rest to us.
Ted here, dialing in from Denver.
Kenzie and the Chicago team dialing in.
Okay, let's get started.
Ted's in charge of this project. He's a total goober. And what's with the haircut?
Guys, can definitely hear you. Like, really good reception.
Conference call's no-brainer, the mute button. Barbasol's no-brainer, finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol. I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
Welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante, Jordan Glass with you here as always on this, well, always hot here in our palatial studios. It's always hot. It's on fire. For the folks that don't know, with the show being televised, it needs certain proper lighting. And, it's like one of those, those checkpoints at night at 2 a.m., those commercials. Don't drive sober, get pulled over. Or like one of those alien Reno, 51 area 51 sometimes. And like, hey, look, we need it. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the show. But I think we're all going to lose a couple LBs by the end of the week. Yeah,
I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that.
Here. But for a sweaty Italian like myself. On that note, let's talk some real sports. Joining us always on a fun note. He's been over the last, about 12, 13 years we've been doing this, so he's used to my antics. Brent Barrett of College Sports Notebook, 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville, Florida Gator Podcast Show, Gator Bait Magazine, and also First Coast News. Does it all and is kind enough to join us each and every Monday. Brent, I hope you had a great weekend.
Chad, I was in the studios last night of First Coast News, and I can certainly concur with you about the TV lights. TV lights are probably the next nearest thing to the TV lights will be the surface of the sun. So I can appreciate that. Sometimes our listeners and viewers don't, but it does take some getting used to.
Yeah, it has, and like we said, on a day where, as I did today, had a Philly cheesesteak, I could afford to get a couple sweats in here, So
yeah, that's much needed. But again, we like the countdown. So I'm just telling folks that we are probably. We're a little over a week, I think, at this point, Chad, from having the first preseason magazine. So that's already something to get excited about because they are around the corner, and anybody who's written on deadline, you can appreciate that. But by now, frankly, the magazines I think are done. They're probably getting to the distributors and. Will probably start coming out either this weekend or certainly next weekend.
Brent, is there, at this point, should we assume anything different than what we are expecting? I know that, look, people get paid sometimes, and we were sitting there at lunch the other day, and somebody said, I think Kirk Herbstreit really believes Arizona State might do well this year with Herman, or they'll throw somebody out there that is against the grain, and those guys get paid because if you say the norm, you're not going to get any punches. You're not going to get any ratings. Skip Bayless is famous for that, but he goes to a whole new level. But when you look right now, our job is to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth for the most part, even if our opinion is wrong, and I can't seem to find any reason why it wouldn't be Clemson, Alabama, and then probably Georgia and a Michigan or Ohio State again that have a shot.
And look, there is nothing wrong with that because that's, frankly, who it's going to be. And again, I've seen some notes out there that there are only 5 teams favored to win every game, and basically the ones you just mentioned. Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Michigan. I'll have to see Michigan to believe that. But, again, I mean, Chad, the reason these teams are considered the best teams in America is because they have got the best rosters. And frankly, Clemson and Alabama are the top 2 teams in terms of the top 50 players. And, again, Georgia and Oklahoma or somewhere in that vicinity too, but look, it may not pan out that way because of a variety of things, but there is no denying Clemson and Alabama again have the 2 best rosters.
Speaking with Brent Barrett of College Sports Notebook, you can follow him on Twitter at Brent Barrett. Florida, let's take a look here. Dan Mullen is really, he's taken the confidence level to a whole new meter. You know, you look right now what he's been able to do from hanging out with the kids, the Gator Grill Outs, the Fortnights, having fun, just even with the jerseys that might look like an actual Gator when it comes to some of the colors that maybe the old school enthusiasts don't like, but the kids like them. And that's, you know, one of the reasons why Oregon went with 17,000 shades of neon crossing guard green, because the kids liked it, not what the parents liked. And I think you look right now at Florida, that even though they're not winning titles right now, I think they definitely rank number one to me in that category about starting to relate and building the right way from a standpoint of getting the youth to want to be back as a Florida Gator.
I think they are still probably a year away from where they need to be, and they need another recruiting class. But with that said, this, frankly, is a team that is an offensive line away from being really, really good this year. Now, again, without trying to put a number on it, they're deep at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and, frankly, I think this team's very good on defense. And Todd Grantham's second year. But if they can rebuild their offensive line, they've only got one starter coming back in Nick Buchanan. And Brett Hagee is a guy who is their best player, and he's been often injured. So the thing they need to do is to get that group going quickly. Now, what we're hearing, Chad, is they may be looking in the transfer portal for offensive linemen. They need some experience. And if they could get a guy or two that could really help them instead of having a depend on freshmen, that would help it even more. So, but again, we are excited about that Miami game in Orlando to start the season off. I think they win that game. And look, I would give them double digits at this point, frankly. In my mind, over Miami. Doesn't mean Miami won't be better later, but this Gator team, if that line is much improved and adequate, that's going to make a major difference for this team.
Brent, when you look right now at the NFL draft, 34% of the players that were underclassmen, meaning redshirt sophomores or juniors, 3 years removed, decided to, that left early, did not get drafted. 34%. That's a huge number of people out there, agents, family members, everybody saying, show me the money. And you get drafted in a spot where you probably will be cut, released, and will have to find a job as something else because you're not going to make money in the football world. You look right now at what's going on in the world of college football. Do you think that's the right rule? Do you feel that if you don't get drafted, you cannot go back to college? That's a good thing? Or do you think that they should be able to do that where if you don't get drafted, you still have the right to come back in some capacity to the college football level?
No, I'm a big believer. These kids, if they don't get drafted, they need to come back. Now, unfortunately, right now, if they don't get drafted and they came out in that they should or having to live with their decision. But listen, Chad, something's got to be done with this. Way too many of these kids are not paying attention to their head coach. And listen, Jimbo Fisher, I thought was asked on the booster banquet about this, and I thought he made a tremendous point. He said, if you're not drafted in the first two rounds, you need to come back. That anything outside the round two is and he's got a real point, is a crapshoot. So, I mean, listen, Chad, maybe the poster child for this is Alabama's Mack Wilson, who should have come back. If he did, he would have probably ended up either in the first round or second round next year. Instead, he gets drafted in the fifth round, which, frankly, you might as well just be a free agent at that point. So, no, something's got to be done with this. Sometimes to save these kids from themselves in order for them to come back and rejoin their team.
You know, I'm mixed on this, and the reason for it, Brent, is, you know, you look right now, accountability in life is something important, meaning that if you take a job, you have two great companies, and you take a job with one, and you don't go with the other, and the other one goes bankrupt in the next week, you can't call back that business the next week and say, I know you probably hired 2 more people by now, but I want it. They'd say, I'm sorry, it's called tough apples. You should have taken it at that time. These guys are told, this isn't like they spin a wheel. They're told where they're going to be around the vicinity. Now, you know, you got Pro Football Focus. Steve Palazzolo does a great job. A lot of guys down there at Senior Bowl events, and they're giving you every rating possible of where you are probably going to rank, meaning you might be between the 4th to 6th round, but there's never a first rounder unless it's something with drugs or abuse or something off the field that happens. No first rounder is going to fall to the 7th. That doesn't happen that way unless an outside of football type of thing happens. That's why I look at it as say, okay, if you know you're going to be a 6th or 7th, you should be accountable enough to say, you know what, if I'm an underclassman, I have to come back. If you're a 4th or 5th rounder, now you're maybe taking a risk to prove yourself in the combine. I just think accountability is one thing. And what if you brought them back, but it was the same way as a transfer, where if you bring them back, they might have to sit out a season, but then they're able to come back the next year. Something where at least they got to work it together. But, you know, I agree with you. It's unfair that these kids, by making that decision like a Mack Wilson, who you're right, if he came back, there's a good chance he could be a first-round pick next year after going through the ropes with Alabama and being now more of the star at linebacker. But at the same time, if they allowed everybody to come back, what would stop the junior backup punter from pretty much just going to the draft just in case somebody got lucky and his name was something to the fact of Quinnen Williams, and they said the wrong Quinnen Williams, and he got a nice contract?
Well, and I can see that too. And listen, there were indeed some surprises as far as some of the undrafted guys. C.C. Jefferson, Florida, Mitch Hyatt for Clemson, Martez Ivy of Florida. Now, injuries have a lot to do with some of these things, and I'm not saying this is the case for these guys, but Chad, another issue here is, and they will never say it, and I get that, but some of these coaches have told these guys, and some of these coaches, frankly, have had enough of them, and they've sent them on their way and have told them, look, you're not a part of the plan anymore, and you need to find something else to do. But that is a legitimate point, is that these coaches go out of their way and they talk to these kids over and over again. And look, I understand, Chad, if you've never had any money, that some money is better than none. But the thing these guys can't understand is if you can wait one more year, you can get not just some money, but a lot of money. But and again, it really makes me wonder sometimes if there are too many rounds of the draft, Chad. Frankly, that thing really ought to be should be cut after about the 5th round. I know there's a lot of 7-round wonderful stories, but all in all, this is a continuing problem. But what you said may have been a real tremendous answer for that is, yeah, you come back, but you've got to sit a year. That might be a compromise for both sides.
Brent, why did Gardner go so late? Why did Chauncey Gardner fall further? I mean, we know with Polite it was more about the combine and his pro day, but what was up with that? Because I feel like he was a better athlete than where he went. 4th round, correct?
Me too. I would agree with that. Also, I don't know if that was necessary. And a lot of these things sometimes we don't find out about for a while. I mean, did he interview poorly? Were they concerned about his injuries? Because listen, I remember and covered the Florida when they were down at the Citrus Bowl. When Gardner, you probably remember this, Chad, when Gardner was the most valuable player of the bowl game. So, and his future was as bright as the sun, as we mentioned a few minutes ago. So that was very disappointing. And I think for some of these guys, there are multi-layers to it. But, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I never heard anything that was particularly bad or nefarious that he did that would discount him for being able to be drafted.
Yeah, you can play around the line of scrimmage, the deep ball right there. I mean, you look at his stats, and they're up there with some of the greatest Florida Gator secondary guys. And, Gardner Johnson was one of these kind of guys that stood out in the field. I always say that. I understand the combine sometimes. If you're a receiver and you're running a 4.75, okay, you're not going to run the routes. You could be great, but there's only so much room. A Hunter Renfrow can make great passes, and he looks like a New England Patriot receiver, but he's not going to beat out a guy like a Justin Ross or a Jerry Jeudy when it comes down to being a pro. Now, Gardner Johnson, though, to me, there was nothing that said that he didn't stand out on that field. He 12 of 13 games last year he started, or he played in. He had 71 tackles, 4 interceptions, 2 he returned for touchdowns, and he's a game changer. He's one of those kind of guys. And the Saints, I know we got a lot of Saints fans right here, and Who Dat Nation getting him in the 4th round got, to me, the steal of the draft.
Oh, yeah, and I would agree with that. And Chad, one of the things that happens sometimes, and this happened to Juwan Taylor, that fell to the Jaguars, that there was a lot of misinformation out there that he had some injuries that they really didn't talk about, and he certainly denied that. But I think that kind of happens too, that some of these kids get caught up into basically what you would almost call the rumor mill, and it's one of those things that unfortunately works against them as far as the draft is concerned. So, listen, to me, Chad, again, if there's any doubt as far as or any chance that you're sliding down, these guys really, again, just need to come back.
Real quickly, Brent, XFL, you've got the 2020 announcement that they've made a deal with Fox Sports and also with ESPN. Not a bad deal to have. The AAF has fallen off. We understand that. They've got Oliver Luck out there, the former athletic director of West Virginia and father of Andrew Luck. Now, you look right now at that league. They got the money backing of Vince McMahon and the WWE fans, which they can cross-promote. But do you believe that the XFL, it failed once when I was a kid with He Hate Me and the Orlando Rage. I remember those games, the cheerleaders in the crowd and other things going on. But overall, do you think the XFL, now that the AAF looks to be out of the picture, can survive as the little brother of the NFL?
Well, it depends on how the NFL deals with this. See, I think a lot of us thought the league that just failed, that the people were. I think people were misled a little bit about that league, Chad. That this is a minor league of the NFL, and they're going to provide all this money, and that they're going to take care of them. Well, that's very obvious. That didn't happen, or at least the people misunderstood the premise of this. With the new league coming next year, the criticism I've heard of it so far is that it basically starts a week after the Super Bowl, and the thought was, why not wait a few weeks till later to begin, so that people can start missing football again. The money banking for them will make a major difference. And look, this is a sermon on another day, but Chad, I've always thought, and I've heard more about this in the last few years than I ever have, that your non-Power Fives would actually be better if they played a spring schedule. I know that sounds crazy for college kids, but the thing about it is, I think there are going to be some dramatic differences in college football over the next few years. And frankly, I'm not sure that won't be one of them before it's over.
Hey, I wouldn't mind a real national title. At my school, that's all I'm saying. So
that's right.
That's right. We've got a fake one. Why not combine them? So there you go. Brent, always appreciate your time. Looking forward to talking some more football until that August 24th game right there in Orlando. It's going to be a lot of fun and looking forward to it down there. So thanks for joining us as always, and hope the lights out there on the TV studios treat you as fair as they have us.
Same to you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks. Brent Baird, one of the best right there. For years with the magazines coming out right now, one of the head writers with Lindy Sports, and has done so much with college sports over the last 20, 30 years. And him and his brother, two of the best Nick Saban photo bombers in the world. You'll see him behind any game right there. You know the guys that are always in the shot. He's one of them, and he's the best. I don't know how to rank that or if anyone cares, but there it is. Come back for more.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Welcome back to Sports View. Next topic. Is it really all about power? Makes me think of Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Gives you the power to find options based on your budget. Let's go to Chuck for an irrelevant analogy.
Man, back in the day, people didn't ask how many oranges are in the crate. They just took the oranges. They didn't say, are there 6, 7, 12, 15, whatever. It was just oranges. You get me?
We get you, Chuck. In a word, oranges.
Give it to us straight with the Progressive Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons?
This does not bode well for the car, or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Baseball season just started, and I'm looking forward to seeing how those big-time free agents impact their new franchises. And if you're a small business owner, there's no better place to find the impact hire to help your business than LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs takes the time to learn more about who you're looking for and then recommends qualified candidates from their community of engaged and career-minded people, candidates who you likely won't be able to reach anywhere else. The truth is, over 70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn. And posting your job on LinkedIn gives you the best chance of finding and starting a conversation with your next star recruit. It's no surprise a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. So build your winning team by posting a job on LinkedIn and visit linkedin.com/sports to get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports for $50 off your first job post. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Pensacola Beach isn't just a sun-soaked white sand paradise. It's also the best dance floor in 50 states. Every Tuesday night, the stage near the Beach Ball comes alive with great music you know and love. Bands on the Beach are free shows every Tuesday through October, and they're brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority. Tomorrow, it's the True Blue Band, upbeat grooves, soulful singing, and truly a must-see high-energy dance band out of Gulf Breeze playing your favorite R&B and soul and roots music. Join us for live music every Tuesday night at 7 for Bands on the Beach.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive, 5:56 on this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us as always. Thanks to Brent Baird, College Sports. You know, you got right now a little bit of conversation going on in the world of football. It's sort of the slow time. We got our spring games. They sort of give you a little juice. Then you got the NFL draft. You get to reminisce about some of your former players or the ones that didn't get drafted that can't come back, as we talked about. And this is sort of the time where listen to Feinbaum before we drove in today, and you get the fun arguments back and forth of why everybody's right. Pa, are you kidding me? Did that jackal just come on here and say that Clemson's better than Alabama? You idiot! You're like, they did beat you. I'm sorry. Yeah. I had a guy tell me after Auburn beat UCF, and I'm hitting my quota on UCF talk, so I'm going to stop. But after they lost, he came up to me, and he goes, boy. And first off, when they start the sentence with boy, you either have to run because you're about to get shanked, or there's a chance that you're going to lose this argument regardless of how educated you are. But he goes, boy, because I had my fake national title UCF shirt on. It was okay. Publix were shopping, supposed to be a pleasure, and it was awful. I've had this has happened like 4 times there. Grammy, every time I wear that, it's like the shirt next to me, next to the beds that I throw on to get quick groceries. You know those outfits. You look like the dude from The Big Lebowski right there when you're going to get groceries, sometimes quick. So this is the shirt I just throw on, and it's like the onesie for me. So I throw it on, and I'm going there, and this guy goes, "Boy, you really think that team is a national title?" I tell him, like, first, I'm just trying to get eggs, dude. Can you back off? If I need to get milk for the section and you're still in my way, we're about to throw down here, Mackenzie Milton style. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and the conversation continued. He goes, "You guys couldn't even beat Vanderbilt." And I was like, and then that's when I was like, oh, okay, let's now the gears are starting to move here. I said, "Oh, really?" So, the smart ass I am, I said, "Oh, okay. Oh, so we couldn't beat Vanderbilt, but we did beat the team that beat both Alabama and Georgia that played in the national title that year in Auburn. Now, did that happen?" And he goes, "Well, you don't get it." And I said, "Sir, have a good day." And I didn't say that. I actually sort of just bumped his cart out of the way and kept on getting eggs. But I realize sometimes that, you can be angry at the situation. And I'm not a moron. When I say this, I know there's many Alabama Roll Tiders out there. There's like, this guy still doesn't get it. I do get it. Alabama's a better football team than UCF. They have 5-star recruits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All over the field, where UCF's lucky to have a couple. That probably are getting some middle envelopes if they're getting more than that. But here's the difference, is when you have a good quarterback and you believe in the system, there's a shot to win. There's some of those teams that are all smoke and they have no mirrors. There are a couple teams, the Northern Illinois, there's teams like the Hawaiis with Colt Brennan, that they weren't going to win a title. Then there's some teams like Boise State, TCU, when they were actually out there in the back in the day they were in the Mountain West with Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, before he pretty much ran out of gas. Here's the difference, though. We've got to look at it, Jordan, and say, do we need to go down a path of what Brent was talking about and having a non-Power 5 conference, their own league and their own championship in the spring, or is this never given a team? Because it's like the Premier League in soccer.
Right.
In the Premier League, you have to win in what is the English Championship League or whatever it is to get in for a chance at the Premier League. If you go ahead and do that, do you move up? Does each team that wins in the spring have a chance to move up to a Power 5 conference? That doesn't make much sense for conference alignment, and also with a lot of moving pieces when it comes to football. But how do we make this right? Because there are a lot of teams. What UCF proved, if anything, is that no matter who you are, no matter what it is, you can never win a title if you're not a Power 5 conference team at this point.
Yeah, when Brent said that on the phone, I kind of tilted my head and was like, because I'd never thought about that, and that's an interesting option, and it's an interesting choice, and it's something we could see. It wouldn't surprise me if we did see that down the line. I think maybe something a little more simpler than that. Maybe have another football playoff for the teams that aren't Power 5 conferences. Mm-hmm. Have a playoff for them, a top 4 for them, and because you look at it. How often do we see teams like Boise State? How often do we? Because really, since until Central Florida, it was Boise State. Then obviously Chris Peterson goes to take the Washington job. Boise State drops off a little bit, and there was a few years there where we didn't really have any non-Power 5 teams that were going undefeated and being one of those bubble busters that were, people were making the argument for inside the top 4 or in the BCS. And then UCF starts winning. So it's kind of a rare occurrence to where I don't know if we need a full spring. I don't even know if we need a separate playoff. But I think something does need to be done to where we can at least acknowledge their accomplishments. Because, here's the thing. Back in the day, you could win. You would have a national championship game, and then somebody else could possibly be claimed the AP national championship. Mm-hmm. Something along those lines to where can at least acknowledge a team. Central Florida went undefeated. As you said, they beat the team that beat the 2 teams that played for the national title that season. Mm-hmm. They deserved something to bring acknowledgement to that other than just, a fake national title and a fake parade.
Right. And
they needed something real. Yeah.
Point of this entire 12-minute segment was for you to admit that live, and we're archived. I know we got those
got it recorded.
Because that's going to be a promo
Facebook,
now. That, just Jordan Glass talking about UCF. They beat the team that beat both in the national title. I love it. Thank you, Jordan, for making it.
Ow,
What was that on at the table? All right, when we come back, I always wear a cup in studio. You know, if anybody ever says that to you, I'm always prepared with a cup and be like, sir, you are one. You've had this. I'm not even going to get into that. If you're wearing a cup in public and you believe because you're afraid that people are going to go for there, then you probably have some enemies and probably aren't that cool of a person. On that note, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get to pros versus Joes moments and the most ridiculous thing. That's right. The lock of Andre Agassi's wig. It wasn't his real hair, folks. Don't let those camera commercials fool you. Or the ghost of Bobby Jones, in a jar. Not the most ridiculous things that have ever been sold in sports memorabilia. It's all coming back right here in the Sports Drive.
Tell your fan friends that you've switched to Pensacola's new ESPN. ESPN Pensacola 94.5. It's where you hear Chad Berlante's Sports Drive at 5, Coach K, and Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen. Plus all of your ESPN national faves like Gullick and Wingo and Paul Feinbaum. And if you'd like to be an ESPN sponsor or one of our promotional partners, just give us a call at 262-6000. 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For your UWF Argos, baseball is victorious as part of the Gulf South Conference Tournament over Alabama Huntsville. Final score of this game 12-8. And congratulations to softball as they knock off West Georgia 4-1 to win the Gulf South Conference Softball Tournament, which, by the way, was hosted on the UWF Softball Complex. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, on Saturday, they were victorious in a big-time way over the Biloxi Shuckers on Star Wars night. The final score of Saturday's game was 11-2. For Sunday, much of the same, 9-2, the final score in a big-time Wahoo win. They improved to 20-10 on the year. Coming up next, they'll be on the road later on this afternoon, taking on the Mississippi Braves. That gets started at 6:35. Chris Garagiola will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. The next time they'll be at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's coming up May 16th. They'll be taking on the Mobile Bay Bears. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Looking Gannon, those up the middle. And at the 30, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Bubba Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell. The new WNBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, 6:07 on this Monday evening. Coming up here tonight, we're going to have some Pensacola Blue Wahoos baseball as they begin their road stand against the Mississippi Braves. Coming off a great series once again, taking their 6th straight series to open up the year, this time against the Biloxi Shuckers and making it look good. Dominant performance overall. And I'm telling you, you look right now, they scored 30 runs in their final 3 games at home. But Jordan, the Wahoos right now are playing a great brand. They keep on moving some of these young guys up, and they just produce immediately. Or they get a guy like Miguel Sano, who bombs one out there into left field, into the bay. I owe you steak tacos for it. But, sometimes, don't ask how that came around. But it's pretty awesome to see a team not only get over here in Minnesota, which is exciting, it's a new change, but then be that dominant overall.
It is, and you got to think for a guy like Miguel, who was sent down for a rehab assignment. He's sent from Minnesota this time of year to Pensacola, Florida. He's got to be thinking, it's not that bad of a rehab assignment right there, and he puts one in the water. But yeah, this team is really talented, and it's because of the farm system that they built for the Minnesota Twins. And look, this team is off to their best start. I don't think there's been another start in their franchise history that has matched this one. The way not just the way they've played, but the way they've won. It's been very dominant. You look at last night's game, 9-2. Saturday, 11-2. They have been a team that they either are in a close game and they win it with their pitching because they have great pitching, or they are just knocking the cover off a ball and it's not even close.
Looking right now at the NFL draft, it is now done, and we all have our quarterbacks that we believe could be the future, or another one to say, crap, here we go again. The Browns actually don't have to go through that. For the first time in a while, the Browns, this was something rare in the draft that the Browns got to watch this year and not feel like, I wonder if we take a late quarterback like Deshaun Kaiser, Kevin Hogan. Before that, it was, we tried with Johnny Football, and then he went to rehab more than Amy Winehouse, and, things happen. But overall, gosh, I think that now, with the Browns having a quarterback, that huge void of what do the Browns, it's sort of taken. No more ESPN 30 for 30. Who is the next team in line for the path of the Cleveland Browns? Ooh, I think that's a good. I'm going to go right now, the Oakland Raiders. And what I mean by that is Oakland could be good this year. They're moving to Vegas.
Right.
But last year, they dropped off the face, and they're paying a guy $100 million. I'm sorry, a couple zeros more. $100 million in John Gruden. If they don't start winning now, it's going to be who's going to replace Derek Carr. Why did we waste our money? Antonio Brown's not catching these footballs. Where was Khalil Mack, and why did we get rid of him? All of these stories are going to start piling up. And right now, the Raiders have had a couple good years, but think about it. They've been out of the postseason. It's been Rich Gannon days since Barrett Robbins was found down near Tijuana out there taking tequila shots before the game. It's been a long time since the Oakland Raiders have been a championship team. Those were when we were kids, watching Derek Brooks take it back to the house, or those moments. So it's not like it was yesterday. They've had a couple good teams here and there with Derek Carr, but they have not have a legit team that's competed in a very long time. I think the Raiders are the next in line for that build-up if they don't start winning.
I like your Oakland, but I'm going to raise you to an Arizona, because here's the thing with Arizona. They had Josh Rosen for 1 year. Didn't really work out. Didn't bother to give him enough time to kind of get things turned around, especially with a new coaching staff. They bring in Kyler Murray. What happens if Kyler Murray doesn't work out this year, and it's bad, and it's just horrible? Then they're going to go get Jake Fromm, or they're going to go get Tua Tagovailoa or somebody else next year, and all of a sudden, 3 straight years, 3 straight different starting quarterbacks. You've got a coach that maybe isn't that great of a head coach. So I like Oakland, but I think I would put Arizona in that category as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Arizona fans, though, they've been complacent. They've been Arizona forever. They're like the venue welcoming all the national title teams to Glendale, and we got things going on like let's go out to Phoenix and yell at people in Scottsdale for golf. And Phoenix, if you've ever been there, it's a blast to live. I mean, if you needed to pick somewhere, not just because Arizona State's cool, but I'm saying, great party school. But overall, Arizona's got a lot of other things. You're 4 hours from Vegas. You got Flagstaff not too far to go skiing. There's things to happen. For Oakland, they'll murder you in the parking lot. I mean, they will shank you out there if you're running like, go Chiefs, bro! Like Granny. But here's Granny should have been wearing that jersey that day. But
it's like the fact Granny used the word bro.
Look, I went to court. I'm just saying. But overall, sometimes you got to look at it and realize, though, that they're moving to Vegas. There's so much hype being built around this that if it doesn't start winning, it was okay last year because it was like that first year. It's sort of like with Willie Taggart at Florida State. Now, Willie's was a little different because the eye test is very important. That's what people don't get. There's 2 ways. You can lose, which is all right. But you can, like Jeremy Pruitt didn't have they finished 5-7 last year, or 5 and I think
5 and 7.
Okay,
yeah.
But Tennessee fans feel optimistic that there's the writing on the wall that they're getting better. They needed a little time. They didn't have the recruits yet. Jeremy Pruitt is showing signs that they're getting better. It's the opposite. Florida State. Florida State was 6-6 with Jimbo Fisher. They're now 5-7 last year, but it felt a lot worse. It felt, being down to Samford, and then there was a delay where people are like, crap, this is getting worse. Getting dominated on national TV, being ranked by Virginia Tech, getting embarrassed by a rival that you've dominated over the last decade in Florida. All these things started adding up, and it is sometimes how you're losing, how you feel that means something. So to me, Oakland right now is building up so much like, okay, here it is. We got everything. We spent the money on Brown. We did, we're moving to our venue. We got this coach worth $100 million. He took him off Hooters and Coronas commercials in Monday Night Football to put him right here and be our man. And now they need to win. And they got the same quarterback that didn't win last year. So to me, it's going to be a little bit of time on this. We're going to need Father Time on this to give us, who's going to be the next Browns, because that didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It took half a century. But I think they're the team that is on that path.
I could definitely see that. Not to get us off topic here, but I want to bring up Chris Snell's pitching right now for the Rays. He's thrown Blake Snell. Sorry,
That's
I don't know
okay.
where Chris Snell came from.
That's all right. It's his brother. He's okay. He throws about 30 miles left.
It's like Sister June. It's like Sister June. I'm bad with names, whatever.
Right.
But he's pitched 8 pitches. 9.
Yeah.
2 strikeouts already. This guy's incredible the year he's having.
What the Snell is up with his pitches?
Blake and Chris. You just got it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Both of them out there.
Yeah, he's this guy too, by the way. You want to talk about, I'm not saying he's juicing, but Eduardo Escobar is all of a sudden batting 300 in the 3rd spot. And if you don't notice for Arizona, which clearly now we have gone off the cliff here with a breakdown of Arizona and Tampa Bay in baseball on Fox Sports right now. But here's the thing.
Chris Snell's a hockey player. That's where that came from.
There you go.
I knew it was something.
There you go. I knew. Good save right there.
Yeah.
You Google Chris Snell and somebody came up. I'm glad about that.
I knew Chris Snell was related
Google
to sports
Sister
somehow.
June. Google Sister June, and you'll get something as well. I'm sure coming up here. But the difference though with a guy like Eduardo Escobar, I think it was like 6 years ago.
We can't talk about that on the air.
Oh, no. Okay. We're not singing that one. Eduardo Escobar was trying to make a team 5 years ago for the San Diego Padres, and now he's batting 3 for a team somehow. Fountain of Youth, folks. That's what it's called when you drink a couple protein shakes. Will Greer style. We'll come back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass.
A guy like Kyler Murray, great athlete, yes. We talked about it before, great athlete, got a lot of talent. Because of his size, I just see that being something that hurts him inside the NFL.
Then Davis Allen.
It's so much harder to be successful in the NFL, but is it beneficial for you in the long run?
Every Saturday morning on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Join Harley-Davidson of Pensacola Thursday night for Women's Bike Month themed bike night. Come out for live music from Brooke Brown, Harley's Angels serving free beer, delicious food available from Arlene Williams Barbecue, and Saturday, May 11th, the Crew de Who's second annual Crawfish Festival Bike and Car Show, supporting the USO of Northwest Florida. There's always great things happening at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Follow on Facebook and keep up with all the upcoming events. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Well, I told you it was a bad idea anyway. Bill Cosby's Fine Wines in Chicago. I wouldn't go. Okay, welcome back. Sports Drive here. I didn't know we were back here. I told him it was a bad idea to go to that shop. It's on you, bro, if you see that sign. And that happens. Welcome back here. We have been having some fun here talking some sports. You can always be part of the show. 850-972-1945 is the number. And what do you think hurt more, by the way, on a serious note, because these people are scumbags for what they did? But Jared Fogle in Subway or Bill Cosby in pudding snacks? I mean, I'm being honest, though. What do you think?
I'm probably going to say Jared in Subway.
Hurt the brand more? Yeah. Okay. Kids don't care. Kids don't know what's happening. They just want to...
Plus, I don't think Cosby's been in a Jell-O pudding commercial for years. So
still lingers, though. If you walk down the aisles and you see the Jell-O,
you think
it's impossible not to. Let's get back with the Bible. I can't get that out of my brain. Okay, let's take a look here at some of the things that are going on right now in our segment called "Stay a Little Longer" or "Time to Pack Your Bags." Booger McFarland's now in the booth. He's out of the cart, but the side cart. This is a literal thing that really has no value. Sometimes, you see things in movies, or I do this a lot, or just throw in a random squirrel. But those things that have nothing to do with the scenes or anything, to just throw it in the shot for no reason. Well, this one would be the side cart with Booger McFarland. He used to drive the sidelines. He almost ran over some cheerleaders and stuff, and it really didn't add any value because he could have just been in a booth doing the same thing.
Yeah.
If they were like, "Hey, you could see the view up here right now. They got the line. We're about 40 feet up. This is exact height where Joe Flacco threw the football last year." Like, that would have been one thing. He wasn't even. He was just having him go back and forth on this machine. He is now in the booth, and probably his life will be a lot safer for it. But do you think the side cart, the whole situation with the retractable venue on the sidelines, do you want to keep it next year?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It made it more interesting because it was the whole thing of, and if you watch these carts on the side, and they had them at the Senior Bowl, and I remember somebody talking about it at the Senior Bowl, the rate of speed it was going.
Yes.
So it adds a little fun factor to it. And again, he almost ran over a couple of people last year. As morbid as it sounds, we were kind of, watching that going, is he going to hit her? He's going to hit her. Oh, man, he didn't hit her. So, I want to see it stay because it adds an element of fun.
I don't want to see anyone get murdered, but
maybe
the leg, Joe
run over a toe or something like that.
All right, okay. Looking right now at Stay a Little Longer or Time to Pack Your Bags in sports, we move on here to Ryan Tannehill. Is it time to, is he done, or what do you think? Home somewhere else now that you got Josh Rosen?
I think Ryan Tannehill has probably been lost at a Hattie B's Hot Chicken in Nashville for like the past few weeks. So I think it's time for him to pack his bags because he's a guy, he gave it a try. This is a guy who was a receiver in college at Texas A&M, then switched over to the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. He never was healthy a complete season in the NFL. I think it's time for him. He's basically back up to Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, he's not in Tennessee. He's not going to have a chance to play. However, Blaine Gabbert always felt like he was on call based on Mariota and how he plays getting hurt. So if you're going to be in a spot where you feel like at one point the guy's going to go down, Tennessee's not a bad venue.
Let's not forget, though, because we can also have it in a situation where Ryan Tannehill's not even available because Jay Cutler happened because Ryan Tannehill got hurt in practice.
Yeah.
So that's still very much a real possibility for him that they actually are going to need a backup for their backup there with the Titans.
That makes sense. Looking right now at Ryan Tannehill, though, I think he's obviously not staying a little longer in Miami, but maybe time to pack your things. Look, him going home is, as Charlie Sheen would say, winning, if you know what I mean, with his family. That's all I'm going to say. Looking right now, Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket. What do you think?
I think it's time for him to leave as well. I think his time at Cincinnati is done. There are, there's no love lost between him and the front office. It's not exactly a great relationship there. I think it's time for them to move on.
Carmelo Anthony in the NBA.
He's still in the NBA?
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
if he's still in the NBA, then he needs to go.
Why doesn't he just sign a contract right now? If you could pick one team where he could sign a contract to be the Sam Cassell or John Sally at the end, clapping in the suit.
Just sit there.
How funny would that be? It's like you see Golden State tomorrow, and Marv Albert goes, "Yes, 3-pointer." Victory! And then at the end, like, you see high fives. Like, that's Melo, man. Like, him and Boogie Cousins are at the end. Boogie wants to come back. He wants to try to make it back before the end. But, them high five, be like, how do you get on that bench? You're like, why not? Why not just sign one of those 12th man? Be the Scalabrine and shake some hands. He'll get his ring.
He will.
I mean, when it goes down, does that count? It's like Brian Greasy. I'll never forget. Brian Greasy. Now, Bob Greasy won one fair and square, and I still have to hear about the 72 Dolphins all the time for Mercury Morris and his dance. I get it. That's what you got. You got it on us. We lost the game fair and square to David Blanking, Tyree, and the Giants. But here's the thing. You look right now at a guy who we just talked about in Brian Greasy. I was watching the other day because he does commentating now.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there, and I'm watching the commentating for ESPN. At the lower, it says Super Bowl champion quarterback.
It's like with Trent Dilfer, you go, what?
Wait a second. Where is this coming from? And then it was, he won one with John Elway when the Denver, you know what I'm saying? The Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl with John Elway and Terrell Davis. Now, Brian Greasy was on that team, but the first headline was Super Bowl champion quarterback,
right.
And I was like, I got to look this one up because, like you just said, Trent Dilfer and those names pop up, but you don't get it much from outside of that. You get a Brad Johnson or you get some of these. But I'm sitting there going, where is this coming from? And I looked it up, and he was the backup for the teams in Denver that beat Green Bay. So I guess.
What's your greatest Super Bowl memory from when you won it? Man, let me tell you something. I never held the clipboard any better in my entire life.
So based on the ESPN headlines, why wouldn't you try Carmelo and pick and choose, if next year Durant and all these guys join a new team, why not become that guy? Suit and tie it up, boy, and just show up for the playoffs and get yourself 4 or 5 titles. That's all I'm saying. You could be like...
Earn a little money in the process.
John Sally, I think, has like 12 rings. I really do. I think he's been at every bench.
He might have bought a couple of them, but
I'm just saying, you could be that next guy. Pick and choose that. Shaq was trying, remember? You couldn't miss Shaq. I mean, he's 7'1". By the time he was in suit and tie, he was, the big and tall section, obviously, about 450. And he was trying to do that. Remember, he went to like 9 teams by the end of it. So, yeah, you definitely, when you're talking about some of the things going on right now, it's hard to have baseball in studio while we're doing a TV radio show, by the way. We're like sitting here watching this game. We're good at multitasking. But I'm telling you what, it's, I think overall that Carmelo Anthony, it's time, even if he is in the league right now, which we both say free agency is done with him, that it's time to pack his things. He's not going to play defense tomorrow. It's not going to get any better anytime soon.
No, I agree completely. And like I said, he's still in the NBA.
In the league. Yeah. All right, how about Bill Schneider? That's sort of rude to say the vacuum thing. I'll let you start this one, and I'm not answering
this.
This.
He's still in the league.
Yeah,
no.
He's got jazz. They got his Kenny G music to track 4 right now.
Look, Bill Snyder left, then he came back, then he left again. I think he's probably going to stay gone this time. Yeah.
You think he's gone for good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't think he's coming out of retirement. Early bird special is right around the time of his first game at 5. How about this one? Jason Witten back to the NFL with the Cowboys. Time to pack your things again or stay a little bit longer this year.
You know what? I actually like this, and I think Jason Witten can still provide some productivity on the offensive side of the ball. Might not be a lot, but he'll still provide some, and he'll be another target that Dak Prescott will have along with Amari Cooper. And, I'm actually looking forward to watching him play this year. He had a couple of years to kind of rest and get healthy, and let's see what he can do inside the league. And this may open up a door to where, in a couple of years, Gronk may decide to re-sign with the Patriots or go to a different team. So, we'll see what happens.
And how about Willie Taggart and Florida State? As a Florida fan, you say stay as long as you want, buddy, right?
Yeah.
No, realistically, there's a lot of reasons why Willie Taggart is not going to get fired after 1 year.
Yeah.
And it's not, and probably, honestly, it's not fair for anybody to be fired after 1 year unless he's gone out there and samurai sword people on the field or done something where you clearly
you
go to jail in that moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I look at Willie Taggart, and there has to be something here that is that is showing that they're not only good, but they're moving totally in the right direction. Because what ticked off Florida State, one of the most schools with some of the most prestige, they owned a decade. They only won 2 national titles there with Bobby, but overall they owned that decade of the 90s when it came to consistency. When it came to every year they were going to be the 10-2, 11-1 team. And to watch what happened last year, the humiliation of the penalties, not blocking, the coaching staff, it wasn't just Willie. His coaching staff ranked as the worst coaching staff. And WarChant.com did some ratings afterwards, and they looked at a bunch of different things. And their coaching staff across the board got D-minuses. I mean, when we came down to all the guys that were trying to try to coach the offensive line, which wasn't even relevant, and the things going on. Because there was athletes on the field. You see a guy like Burns get drafted in the middle of the first round. Cam Akers, 5-star recruit. Guys like Sweat. You had a lot of guys all over that field. The difference is they did not produce, and it was like running with the chickens with their head cut off out there. I think at this point, he's got to have something. Do you think if this year, if they have a 6-6 or below record, that he'll be coming back?
If they're 6-6 or below, if it's below 6-6, I find it hard for him to come back. But if they're 6-6, they make it to a bowl game. I think he'll get a third year. The thing for Florida State, and this is kind of where I'm going to give them a little bit of a grace period with the way Jimbo Fisher left. Well, it was just kind of sudden. I mean, throws the Christmas tree out by the curb at the overnight, and he's off in College Station the next day. That didn't really give them much time. He also did that in the heart of recruiting season as well, so that made them lose some recruits. And Willie was already kind of behind the tape when he took over that job. So I say give Willie Taggart this season, see how it plays out. If they go if they're a 4-8 team this year, then I think Florida State's maybe going to start looking at this and going, maybe this isn't actually something that's going to work. But if they're 6-6, 7-5, you got to think, all right, steps in the right direction.
Well, and as Jeffrey D has pointed out a number of times, his track record, whether it's at Oregon, Western Kentucky, USF, has always been all about, hey, look, third year this team gets a lot better. Now, those teams were more lenient if he does another horrible year. But if there's any sign of him getting better, like I said, if it's 75 something, they'll give him another shot. Because you truly, for a guy, especially with a system like that, need for speed, Gulf Coast offense, you want to be able to fly down the field. You got to get the right players. You have to have your system, and you're transitioning from a pro style in Jimbo Fisher. So you're right. We give him a little time. It just can't look that bad. As a Gator fan, you'd probably say give us another one of those seasons. Can't spell Willie without one loss. or 1 W and 2 L's. On that note, Jordan, I hope you have a great rest of your day. You doing some cat tonight?
I will be heading to Cat Country.
There you go. You can hear Jordan on 98.7 on Cat Country doing a great job at night. And congratulations to the winner this week of what was a great event down there at Bob Tyler for last prize standing, having a chance to go to the ACMs. And that's all the time we have for the show. We're going to send it out to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Chris Garagiola will have the first pitch out there. The Mississippi Braves right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Beau Rivage is the place.